Hey guys, now we're going to be going over something called parallel programming. So what parallel programming is basically if you want to do two things at the same time. So for instance, you want to go forward and move the arm at the same time. So previously, we had to do one before the other. So we would have to move the robot forward, and then we would have to move the arm up and down. But there's actually a way to do both of these things simultaneously. So I'll show you guys how. So go ahead and drag on out a move tank block just to move forward, but don't actually attach it to the start block. Just keep it here for now. And we'll just keep it on its default values, 50 power on both sides, 1 rotation. Now we're going to go ahead and take a medium motor block. And we'll set this to, assuming that the arm is up, or in an upward position, we'll just keep it at 50. And then we'll say negative 0.25, so it's moving downwards. And now we're going to take another medium motor block and put it right here. And then we'll say, keep it at 50, but we'll say 0.25, so it's moving upwards. Alright, so as of now, this program isn't actually going to do anything. It's not even going to run, just because the start block isn't connected. But if you notice over here, you can actually... there's a little needle icon that allows you to drag this out to other blocks, even if they're not directly connected. So all you gotta do is click on this and drag it over to the move tank block. There we go. And as you can see, this move tank block illuminates. So this is just another way of just programming in general and attaching blocks. They don't necessarily have to be directly attached. You can just do them like this. But for most cases, you would want them to be directly attached, unless you're doing parallel programming. So right now, all this would do is the robot would just move forward for 1 rotation. Nothing special about it. What changes is when we take this and drag it on over to the medium motor blocks. Let's try that again. There we go. And as you can see now, you have a wire going over to the move tank block, but then you also have a wire going over to the medium motor blocks, which means that as a result, these two codes, or these two kind of individual blocks, are going to be executed at the same time. Whereas if you were to put these blocks after this, it would go move, and then the arm would go up and down. This actually allows you to do both at the same time. So go ahead and run this program and see what you observe. So when you run the program, you'll see that this moves forward, the robot will move forward, and then the medium motor will go down, or the arm will go down and up at the same time while it's moving forward. So this is really helpful. But there's actually a way you can take this one step further. So right now, this program will stop after a certain point. It'll stop after the robot goes for 1 rotation, because it's only 1 rotation. It's not on. And as a result, this program won't do much. But what if we wanted this program to keep on going on and on and on and on? Would you think it would be smart to simply have multiple of these blocks and just copy and paste them over and over and over? Or would that be really time consuming? So what could we use as opposed to doing this right over here? Because this would take a really long time if we wanted to just make it keep going over and over and over. So the answer is just by using a loop block. So we go over here and take out our trusty loop block, and we'll go ahead and drag these right into the loop block. Oh, and first we gotta detach these. Highlight that, and there we go. So now we have a loop block set to unlimited, and this means that the arm is just going to keep on going up and down forever and ever and ever. At the same time, this is still only going for 1 rotation, but we want the robot to be moving the entire time as the arm is going up and down. So how do we do this? We just set this to on. And now you can go ahead and drag this right over to the loop block, connect it, and there you have it. So what do you guys think this program will do? So this program is going to go forward forever, and at the same time, it'll also be moving its arm down and up forever. So this can also be really helpful. Alright, So now it's time for you guys' challenge. So if you guys watched the last video, the challenge was to make a program using loops and switches so that if your robot goes forward and it sees a black line using the color sensor, it stops, goes backward, and turns around. Whereas if it's not seeing a black line, it'll just move forward. So I want you guys to expand on this program by saying that not only will the robot move forward, but it'll move forward and it'll move its arm up and down while the program is running. So when it doesn't see the black line, go forward and move the arm up and down forever. Alright. So here is the solution to that program. So let's take it step by step. So let me just set this to color sensor, compare, we'll say reflected light intensity, and we'll set this to 7, which works for my color sensor. Alright, so this is the same program that you guys saw in the last exercise. If the color sensor sees a value that is less than 7, also a dark color, it'll stop, move backward, and then turn around. But here's where things get interesting. If the robot is not on a dark value, so if it's on a white table, for instance, it'll move forward. This is what we had in our previous program. It would move forward, but there wasn't anything that we were using regarding the medium motor. The arm was just sitting there, it wasn't doing anything. So now we're saying that we not only turn the power on at 100 power, we not only turn the medium motor or the large motor on at 100 power, but we're also connecting that using parallel programming to a loop that makes the arm go down and up. So if you guys were to run this program, it would show that if the robot is on a light surface and it does not see the white line, it would not only go forward, but it would also move the arm up and down. So as I mentioned before, this can be really helpful in things like sumo wrestling competitions if you guys are doing that for fun, because by doing this, the arm can make a robot topple over or something like that. So yeah, that was just another fun addition, but parallel programming is super useful just in general if you want to do two things at once, and you're definitely going to need it in the future. So that's about it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.